always wanted to introduce you kids to the world of art. It's so enriching.
I have an announcement to make. I'm bored.
Well, maybe we're all bored, Bart, but we're gonna cooperate anyway.
Yeah, Bart. Oh, brother.
Now over here.
Ay, caramba.
Bart!
Whoa, mama.
Bart!
Wow. Now that's what I call the enriching world of art.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Let's try for a little dignified behavior. This is the art museum.
She's right, you little slobs.
Now here we have some exquisite...
Lisa!
Well, that was close. When do we go home and watch TV?
Bart,
Careful, Dad. This thing's priceless.
this is the last time I take you kids to the art museum.
Don't have a cow, Dad. Yeah, Dad.
Why, you little...
Now calm down, Homer. The kids just aren't mature enough yet to appreciate fine art.
Au contraire, Mom.
We find the world of art quite enriching.
As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of becoming a collector.
Welcome to my show. I'm your host, Chris Pope. The question we're going to be talking about tonight specifically is, does art have to be morally good in order to be considered good art? And the answer is no. Art is the true expression of one's emotions. Having the ability to block out your conscience and get in touch with your feelings is something incredible. No one should tell a painter what to paint or where his or her work should be displayed, but it now becomes a thin line between personal freedom and consideration for the public. Art is freedom, but it's mutual. Give the spectator the opportunity to have the freedom to choose to take part in the artwork. After all, you should never be afraid to hide your true identity from your peers, or even your teachers. Much debate and argument has surrounded censoring artwork and various things related. A Clockwork Orange and many other films have rape scenes. Can we ban those? The Bible is incest. Is that gone as well? Conflict is the root of drama, not perfection. Utopia is neither realistic nor interesting. Why should games focus on perfect worlds where everybody is happy? The thing about art is that it's extremely subjective, whatever it may be. So it'd be extremely unethical and honestly pretty selfish to judge art, or even worse, try to boycott it. Catharsis is an idea that lets the artist vent or release suppressed emotions through his artwork, whatever it may be. If people aren't even allowed to vent through creative outlets, then we live in such an irrational world. Because let's face it, the world we live in today lives and thrives off of marketing and appearances. For example, it's always so ridiculous when the modeling industry takes crap for being too skinny. Really, America? And you're not too big? It just seems so unreal how much people could perceive and judge something without even appreciating the hard work and commitment it took to even create something as beautiful as art itself. For artists, depending on the type of art, of course, it can become extremely difficult to offer criticism without invading their personal beliefs. Because the arts itself is so clearly subjective, it is no written canon for people to abide by. And in case you guys were wondering, a canon pertains to a general law or rule to which something is judged by. In this case, it'd be art. Now, there are some artists nowadays that believe that mimesis is fundamentally something that makes art what it is. It refers to the artist creating something, imitating his perception of the object through art and literature. Example, tattooed pigs. I didn't know they acted. Alright, anyway, tattooed pigs, or something I like to call inktoinkers. Now the wonderful thing about this is that art is always pushing boundaries. It's always changing, always developing. And to me, inktoinkers is probably one of my favorites. And if you're really going to tell me that this has animal cruelty written all over it, I completely disagree. Are you kidding me? These pigs are getting the world treatment. Drugs, tattoos, fame, and a life of leisure. Sounds like rock and roll to me. Life could be a lot worse, though. And if tattooing these hogs is what it takes to keep them from being killed and abused and used for food, then I'm all for it. I'm not a vegan, for the record. Anyways, in my humble opinion, it's got to be that this is the most creative art I've ever seen. However, despite opinions circulating that this has much to do with animal cruelty, I find it intriguing, which is why I asked you, the viewers, for your interviews concerning tattooed pigs. Here are the interviews. Does art have to be morally good in order to be considered good art? Tattooed pigs. The guy that does this is located here in Beijing, and he's actually made a lot of money off this. And
Oh, wow.
so you can take a look at that if you want.
I've never seen that before.
Gross.
This is not art.
You think so?
No, this
Why?
is not art.
I think it could be considered good art depending on what he does, like what the picture itself looks like for me.
A pig having a tattoo on them.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the moral aspects of it.
But like, it's interesting.
Of course, I mean, I would say it is art. Whether or not I find it morally right or wrong is irrelevant.
But it's like extreme art.
Definitely.
It's really creative, so I would say it's a good art.
I bet that's gotta taste like really good once
Yeah.
I don't really consider this as art because it's weird.
And now we move on to the even bigger question. How does the MPAA moderate and censor films today, in this very day and age? Has anyone seen the Cannibal Holocaust? Maybe going out a limb here, but I really like this movie. I mean, who doesn't want to see a bunch of naked villagers sacrifice other naked villagers by shoving a 10-foot pole up their back end? Oh, I love it. But honestly, despite its horrific and graphic content, I can look at this film, and me being a filmmaker and a creative person, I can enjoy this film. Why? Well, starting off, the director himself received a great deal of trouble from it, as he was actually arrested shortly after the release of it. He was even sentenced to life in prison and wasn't released until all the actors showed up to the Italian courts to prove that they were alive and healthy. But let's be honest, that's how the world is today, especially America. Random stuff just falls in your lap for no apparent reason. I'm just saying, Cannibal Holocaust is known as one of the most disturbing, graphic, and yet controversial films ever made. There are countless scenes of rape, profanity, violence, and gore, and some just general disturbing things about the movie. Now, my point is this. Ruggero created this film in 1980, and it completely revolutionized the film industry. And it radically changed the perspectives and the opinions of people in the film industry nowadays. It's so far ahead of its time in terms of special effects, which to me is a blessing to have, that it completely made a huge impact on these people viewing the video. While the story may not be as creative or as original as it could have been, there's still a certain element about it that is unique. And yes, I'm talking about the cannibalism. But in conclusion, art does not have to be morally right to be good art. Are you kidding me? Because what people perceive as good art is what other people can't do or are afraid to do, which is why I like it so much. And I believe that art should never be controlled to any extent, because as civilization and technology along the way with it begins to advance, if we are to improve ourselves, then we can't get all caught up in the morals and the rules that apply today, to which art has no rules whatsoever. And as far as the MPAA is concerned, they should just stick to ratings, honestly. Banning films and censoring good art in many countries is something that I find ridiculous. If you don't like them, don't watch them. It's really just that simple. People and industries have the ability to soar and create things that are beyond our time, just like Ruggero here. So should we shut them down just because people can't handle the truth? Can't realize that humans are constantly evolving and improving themselves? I don't think so. Art will live on, and creativity is the constant spark for its existence. Thank you.